Hi, it's Tanny the Canadian Stamper, and these are your Cheerful Daisies set projects. It's a stamp set and these dies. This is the video tutorial. So for each card, I'm gonna talk about the card we're doing. I'm gonna go over the kit contents. I'm gonna give you the measurements for all the pieces, and then we're gonna go ahead and assemble. So this is the one we're doing now. This is our color palette: Early Espresso, Garden Green, and Daffodil Delight. Any versions of the, like if you don't have those specific ones, just whatever is close works. I've chosen those colors because they match what's in the designer series paper. So this is Daffodil Delight. The darker orange, actually looks like an orange, doesn't it? It's crushed curry, but it does look like an orange, doesn't it? All right, so your kit contents. So we have a standard A2 size card base on basic white. We have three gems. They're rustic gems. And we have a piece of Early Espresso cardstock, which measures 2 3/8 by 5.5. And then this piece is smaller than this, so I'm gonna give you both sizes, and then you can, when you make it again, you can see what you like. So this is 1 3/4 by 5.5, and then this one is 1.5 by 5.5. So depending on how many cards you want to get out of your project, or sorry, your sheet of designer series paper. So maybe what I'll do is I'll put this over here to the side and we'll get started. So this one will go together pretty quick. Oh, I forgot to tell you, this is a piece of basic white. It's just scrap. It doesn't matter what size it is, because you're going to use it to stamp and die cut your flowers. So I'm just going to use Tombow glue. You could use tape runner if you wish. My glue holder. So this one's going to go just slightly off. Maybe I'll tell you exactly on here, just so you know. It's a half an inch from the side. I mean, I don't think it needs to be exact. I'm going to eyeball it. You know, sometimes you get your sticky fingers. I got a sticky finger situation. So I am going to use Tombow and lay this flat as well. Whoops. And because I'm going to elect to pop up the flowers, just be mindful of the direction of the flowers. You wouldn't want it going that way because your flowers would be upside down. So just take a minute to have a peek. So there, you can see the difference in the width of the DSP, you know, whichever one maybe you like. All right, so because it's a photopolymer stamp, I'm going to use my mat, and I'm going to use the big flower. Okay, so let's talk about this. These are two-step stamping. So this is your outside, this is your inside. So on here, you will see we're going to do the outside in Early Espresso, and then the yellow is going to make up the inside. So you can really get quite creative with how the color coordinating that you do for your stamping. When I was working with the set, you'll kind of get a sense of maybe what you kind of like and what maybe you don't as far as color themes. I'm going to just move this because it's kind of... So you can do this, I mean, if you aren't experienced with two-step stamping, I recommend trying it both ways just to see what you like. So this is the outline. Whoops, that's not true. I have my inner stamp that I'm stamping in the outside color. One moment. Just grabbing a wet wipe here. Let's try that again. There we go. we're going to do the outside of the stamp. It's the outside. We're going to ink up Early Espresso. Just stamp that down. Now, when you go to do the top layer, whether it be the inside or the outside, whichever one you choose to do, I would take the stamp and line it up over the outline, just so that you are orienting the leaves, the petals in the same way. Apparently my stamp was wet because I've got that a little bit wet, but that's okay. Then I'm going to take out my Daffodil Delight. Whoops. I'm going to ink that up. And then you probably get your head right over it. See how I go. And then try and line it up the best that you can. And on the bigger stamps, I kind of put my fingers all over. Nailed it. So I just want to point this out while it's wet. Do you see how that is a different color? This is going to dry a lot lighter, just so you know. I wonder if I used Lemon Lolly on that one. I thought I used Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to throw this away because it's a bit mucky. All right, so let's do our smaller flower. So all of them, all the flowers are the same. You've got your outline and your inside on all three. I've got my little plastic sleeve here with all my extra bits. So I'm going to take this one and this one. And we're just going to do the same thing. So I'm going to do my outside and then my inside. So there's my outside. And then my inside. I bet you I use Lemon Lolly for that, because this seems too dark. I mean, they do stamp darker, but it's more dark. You can even see the contrast in those two colors. So I wonder. All right, so then while we have out our stamps and blocks and all that kind of stuff, we're gonna go ahead and stamp our sentiment, which is here, and then we'll stamp those green leaves afterwards. So I'm gonna use Oops a Daisy, So Sorry. That's not true. I'm gonna use the same one that's on here. Your friendship means everything. Yeah. So just to show you where I'm going with this, if we take out our dies, and this is our sentiment that we're going for, which is gonna live down here somewhere. It's got lots of room. Then I'm just gonna kind of go in the middle of the road, like so. All right, so let's put these away, and then we'll do our cutting and final assembly. So just to the right of me, I have my die cutting machine. So I'm gonna go off camera and die cut, but I'll just show you how I line up our dies first. So this one is pretty simple because it's there. Oh, I forgot to do the middles, sorry. We're not finished yet. We've got our two inner pieces to do. I'm just noticing that on the sample there. So I'm gonna get out my Early Espresso again and just pick these up, and I'm gonna just do them off to the side. There's lots of room on this paper. Put that one on that side. There. Now we'll do die cutting. So this is gonna die cut here. That's pretty straightforward. Then you've got a die that'll go over this one. Now, this little guy is this one. This one is pretty easy to line up. Now, for the bigger flower, when you're sort of orienting your die, if you wanted to, you could, you know, if you find it sort of a pain to line it up all of the time, some of the stamps can be pretty tricky, is that you can take, so let's say on the big flower, so if these line up like this, you could get a Sharpie and you could put a black dot, say right here, and then you could go ahead and put a black dot on the same leaf there. So when you're stamping, you know exactly how they're oriented. Similarly, for that same, so this goes like this. So if, let's say for example, we put a dot there, we would want to go ahead and put a matching black dot here on our die. And then when you're putting your die, getting ready to cut, then you don't have to fuss with it because it's just, it'll be easier to put together. So I'm just going to go off camera here while I cut. Perhaps you're cutting at the same time. So it's just my standard stamp cut and emboss machine. And I am going to cut them all at the same time and be fancy. So we'll see how I do. My other flower stuck to the table here. There we go. All right, so let's put our dies away. Whoops. I'm stuck over here. And that can go in recycling. And we're all set. All right, so this is gonna go right on there. I have popped it up on here. I think I'm just gonna glue it down this time because I'm gonna pop up the whole flower. Just orienting this. I don't know that it has a specific way that it needs to go in. So the die for this little one, I have a hard time lining it up because I can't quite see, and it's a bit bigger than I need it to be anyways. Perhaps I'm not using it correctly, but I'm going to show you the way that I think it works. I'm just rounding this a bit, and then that's going to go on top of that one. So we're just doing those ones. And now we'll get out our garden green, and this is an accent. You can certainly leave it like this. Actually, I might leave it like this because looking at the stamp, I don't know that there's enough room. So in here is this leaf stamp. So you could ink up in garden green and then you could add kind of accent, but I think I'll leave it because this is a different sentiment and it's bigger than the other. So we're going to forego the green. You could certainly do it on the inside or on your envelope, of course. Don't forget about your envelope. Where's my card base? Here it is. So it's pretty quick once you get your flowers stamped and die cut. So this is where I'm gonna sort of allocate my dimensionals for popping on all of these areas. So I have my little tabletop garbage. It's a YouTube video that I have. It's an oldie but a goodie. If you need one of those garbages, the video's there for you. I think I'm gonna get away with one dimensional on that one. All right, so we're gonna do sentiment first. So I'm gonna line this up at the edge of my mat just to keep me straight. Now you can decide if you want to, I kind of want it to be kind of on, kind of not on there, same as I did there. I must have used lemon lolly. These are different. Like, look at those. Those even look like different. I think I might have had something on my stamp. These look the same. However, those don't look the same, do they? That's gonna go under. And I've lost my gems. Ah, found them. So you could certainly put more gems if you wish. These rustic ones go well with the darker tones in the paper. I think I might just do the 3 like that. That's it. First card done. See you in the next one.